Welcome back to Driftwood Stories, where the earth grows quiet and the sky begins to remember. Tonight we drift upward, not by wings or storm, but by wonder. We rise slowly through mists that do not cling, through clouds that shimmer with memory, until at last we glimpse it. Mount Olympus. Not the Olympus of thunder and war, but the one whispered of in dreams. The one where gods walk barefoot through halls made of light and wind. Where time curls into corners, and even immortals pause to rest. This is not a tale of power. It is not a tale of conquest or wrath. This is a story of home. A story of gods, not as statues, but as keepers, of fire, of love, of old silences they do not always understand. On this mountain the stars shine from within. The marble is warm to the touch, and the halls echo not with command, but with longing. You will not need to climb. You are already rising. Breath by breath, step by gentle step, into a place above the world, yet deeply a part of it. So close your eyes, let go of weight and sound, and walk with us now, quietly, slowly, into the house the gods made for themselves. This is Mount Olympus, the home among the clouds. Chapter 1. The mountain that touches sky. They say it cannot be climbed, that the wind grows too thin, the light too bright, the silence too heavy, that no mortal can reach the summit of Mount Olympus, the place where sky kisses stone, and the gods wake slowly, as if from dreams too beautiful to name. But tonight, that isn't true, because tonight you are already there. You do not remember the journey. There was no pain, no sweat, no stumbling, only a quiet feeling, like being called by your own heartbeat. And now, here you are, standing at the edge of the clouds, where the wind is not cold, but curious, where the sky hums softly around your shoulders, where the world below is a memory wrapped in blue and gold. Mount Olympus rises before you, not as a fortress, not as a throne, but as a home. Its steps are carved from pale stone, worn smooth by time and quiet feet. Columns reach up into mist, their tops vanishing into drifting sky. Vines of silver-leafed ivy twist along their bases, glinting in the dim light. Birds you've never seen before sing lullabies in a language you don't need to understand. The air smells of cedar, firelight, and something older, something that feels like memory. You take a step. The stones beneath your feet do not echo. They welcome. You walk slowly, not because you're unsure, but because it feels wrong to rush, as if every breath here deserves to be taken slowly. You are not alone. Though no one walks beside you, you feel the mountain noticing. The walls tilt gently toward you. The breeze pauses. Somewhere above you hear laughter, not loud but real. And then a door, tall, arched, glowing faintly. It opens before you touch it. Inside, the light is soft. Not the light of day or fire or lamp. It is the light of presence, of being seen and gently accepted. You are in a great hall. Pillars carved with constellations rise into twilight. The floor beneath your feet is polished stone, but not cold. It hums faintly, as if each tile remembers the steps of those who have walked here before. The ceiling arches high above you, open to sky, and yet no wind stirs. You walk forward slowly, and you begin to see them, not all at once, not like statues or portraits, but in glimpses, in presence. To your left, a figure sits beneath a tree growing indoors, a woman with eyes like wildfire and robes that shift with the colour of flame. She nods to you without words. You do not need to ask. You know her. Hestia, goddess of the hearth, the first to arrive, the last to leave. She gestures you forward. You step through another arch, and the hall opens again, into a space that is not a room, but a world. A courtyard, ringed with clouds, a pool, fed by a waterfall that sings. Statues rise between trees whose leaves shimmer gold and whose branches hum with starlight. You are still dreaming, perhaps, but it does not matter, because here you are allowed. At the centre of the courtyard stands a single table, long and low, carved from crystallized driftwood and wrapped in blooming vines. Chairs of every shape circle it. Thrones, benches, cushions of air. And scattered across its surface are things left behind by time. A bow strung with moonlight, a scroll bound in seaweed, a lyre carved from obsidian. Each one waits. Each one listens. And you breathe, you sit, and the mountain sighs. Mount Olympus is not what the stories say. It is not loud, not proud. It is a place of memory, where gods come not to command, but to rest, to remember who they were and who they still are, beneath the stories. You feel this, not because anyone tells you, but because Olympus does not speak with words. It speaks with presence. It welcomes not seekers of glory, but listeners. And that is what you are, a listener, a witness, a dreamer who dared to climb without asking why. And now you are home. Chapter 2, The Flame That Never Fades. She is waiting for you, not with grandeur, not with fanfare, but with warmth. You step away from the vast marble courtyard and walk down a hall carved in golden stone. The walls breathe quietly, and the air glows not from torches, but from the stones themselves, soft amber light that hums with memory. Vines grow along the edges of the ceiling, and you swear they move ever so slightly when you pass, as if curious. At the end of the hall there is a round doorway, simple, arched, made not of grand pillars, but old olive wood. A door that has been touched by many hands. You pass through and enter a space that feels still, not silent, not empty. Still, it is round, a chamber shaped like embrace. There are no thrones, no tapestries, no display of divine pride, only a hearth at the centre, low and round, its stones dark with age, veined with silver and pale gold. The flame at its heart is small but steady. It burns with a glow that warms your bones. It does not flicker. It listens, and beside it, Hestia. She sits with her back straight, her hands resting in her lap. Her robes are simple, the colour of ash and cherry embers. Her eyes, when they meet yours, are neither bright nor cold. They are ancient and kind. She does not rise to greet you. She only pats the ground beside her. You understand. You sit. For a while nothing is said. The fire moves in slow rhythm, as if breathing with you, and then she speaks. This is the heart of Olympus. Her voice is not loud. It doesn't need to be. It moves through the air like smoke from a candle, gentle, slow, certain. The gods forget that sometimes, she says. They think the mountain is made of thunder, of law, of spectacle, but all of it, the sky, the feasts, the storms, would crumble without this. She gestures to the fire. You look again. It is not ordinary. You realize now it has no source, no wood, no oil, and yet it burns. It always has. This flame, she says, does not consume, it keeps. She shifts her hand, the fire pulses, and on the walls something begins to stir, carvings, shadows, shapes. At first just lines, then faces, then scenes. You see the gods, not in temples, not in war, but in kitchens, at cradles, sitting quietly beside mortals, telling stories beside small hearths. Hera stroking the hair of a child who is not hers. Apollo tending to an elder's injury. Artemis mending the roof of a cottage in a village where no one knows her name. These are not the stories told, Hestia says, but they are the ones that hold Olympus in the sky. You nod. The warmth of the fire fills your chest. It does not make you sleepy. It makes you remember. Do you know why the gods fear? She asks. You turn to her. They fear being forgotten, she says, but not in song, not in temple, in the small ways, the real ways, the quiet ones. She smiles gently. You are here, because you remembered to listen. She stands slowly. The room deepens. She walks to the fire and kneels before it. For a moment you are afraid she will vanish into it. Instead, she reaches in and draws out a single coal, glowing red, wrapped in white ash. She sets it gently in a stone bowl beside her. One day, she says, when you wake, you'll wonder if this was real. She places her hand over the bowl, but you'll still feel the warmth. You'll light candles that burn longer than they should. You'll feel safe in silence. She steps toward you, places the bowl in your hands. It is warm, comforting, like holding a memory you thought you had lost. You will not carry the fire itself, she says, but its shape, its hush. That is enough. She steps back. The fire flares, not in rage, but like a heartbeat rising and falling. And you understand, Hestia does not rule Olympus. She keeps it. She holds its stories in silence, its strength in softness. And as you leave the room, slowly, the warmth still in your hands, you do not look back. Because some hearths, once known, never leave you. They remain, quiet, steady, and eternal. Chapter 3. The Garden of Longing. You walk again. The warmth of Hestia's hearth still lingers in your chest, not like heat, but like hush. Each step carries a memory now. The halls of Olympus are different than before, not grander, not brighter, just deeper. The air changes as you pass under an archway of flowering vines, soft petals the colour of blush and moonlight. The scent is subtle, not perfume, not sweetness, something older, the scent of wanting, of waiting. You follow a stone path that curves beneath canopies of roses, jasmine, and blooms with no name, each one open, not because they must be, but because they are seen. The garden waits, not like a place abandoned, but like a heart kept open. In the centre of it all stands Aphrodite. You don't see her at first, you feel her. A pulse in the petals, a hush in the wind. Then she turns. She is not what you expect, not radiant with fire, not cloaked in thunderous beauty. She wears a robe the colour of sleep, her hair loose, her feet bare, and her eyes, they carry centuries. Love has shaped her and scarred her. She smiles, not the smile of charm, but of recognition. "I wondered when you'd come," she says, voice like soft water over stone. She gestures for you to walk beside her, and so you do. The garden stretches beyond sight, not wide but winding. Every path turns back toward its centre. The air hums with bees, and somewhere in the distance a lyre is being tuned. Aphrodite moves without hurry. She stops beside a small tree, one blooming with tiny violet flowers. She touches a branch. "This one," she says, "grew from a promise." You tilt your head. A mortal man swore to wait for the woman he loved. He did. She didn't return. But the waiting bloomed anyway. She walks on. "Love is like that," she says. "It grows even when it's not returned. Especially then. You pass another tree, its bark knotted and gold. This was born from envy," she says. "Still beautiful, still worth tending," she turns to you. "Love is not clean," she says. "It is not always bright. It is tangled, rooted, often blooming out of pain." You walk in silence for a while. Aphrodite doesn't speak again until you reach a small pool at the garden's heart. Its surface is glass. No ripple. She kneels. You kneel beside her. "This," she says, "is the mirror of wanting." She touches the surface with one fingertip. The water stirs. Images ripple into shape. Not visions, not futures. Feelings. You see yourself, not as you are, but as you long to be. Loved, understood, known. You feel it in your bones, the ache of it. Aphrodite watches you without speaking. Then she says, "This is what draws the gods more than any offering. Not sacrifice, not fear. Longing." You meet her gaze. She nods. "We are not worshipped with gifts. We are worshipped when someone dares to hope." You stare into the pool. The image fades, but the feeling stays. She rises. You follow. And now she leads you to a wall of vines, thick and rose-tangled. She parts them with a single motion. And there, At the garden's farthest edge, a single bench. On it rests a folded robe, a pair of sandals, a comb of ivory. Aphrodite kneels beside them. She does not speak for a long time. Then, softly, these were hers. You do not ask. She answers anyway. Psyche, her voice trembles, not weak but deep. She was everything. She touches the comb. She is gone now, but not gone. She looks up at you. Do you understand? You do. Love does not end. It waits. It shifts. It leaves behind gardens. Aphrodite takes your hand. Her touch is warm. Love is not the lightning bolt, she says. That is only the spark. Real love is the seed, the waiting, the tending. She places something in your palm. A single petal, gold and silver at once. It pulses with something like breath. When you wake, she says, there will be moments you feel empty. She closes your fingers around it. This will remind you that love was never about being full. It was about growing around the ache. She touches your forehead softly and smiles. You feel the garden settle. You turn to look back one last time, but there is no path, only blooming, only the hush that remains when longing is held without fear. You walk on, not because you are finished, but because love, real love, always walks with you. Chapter 4. The sky remembers everything. The wind shifts. You follow it through a corridor that opens wide, leading not to a room, but to a ledge. A vast terrace carved directly into the mountainside, where the floor becomes sky and the air becomes silence. Here, Olympus no longer holds you. It offers you. The clouds drift below your feet. Stars bloom above in a daylight sky, and in the middle of this wide open hush, two figures stand. Zeus and Hera, the king and queen of Olympus. But they do not look like statues. They look like weather. Zeus, tall, robed in storm grey, with eyes like dusk and thunderlight. Hera, wrapped in peacock silk and time, her gaze a horizon that sees everything. They are not speaking. They are standing side by side, watching the sky. You are not sure if they see you, but somehow they do. Zeus turns first. He nods once, the kind of nod mountains make when they shift. It is not a greeting. It is permission. You step forward, not close, just near enough to hear. Hera speaks, her voice softer than you imagined. We fought here once, she says, not with weapons, with words. Zeus adds the words were sharp, but not final. Hera says. They both look out again. The sky rolls. You stand beside them now, silent. Zeus folds his hands behind his back. She left me, he says, for 300 years. You turn to Hera. She does not deny it. I left because he did not listen, she says. Not truly. Zeus breathes in. I thought ruling meant deciding, and I thought love meant being heard, Hera says. Neither sound bitter. They sound honest, old, real. They step forward toward the very edge of Olympus. You follow. Below, the world rolls on. Tiny cities, oceans, clouds like dust in a divine hand. Zeus raises his hand, thunder rumbles, not loud, not angry, just present. I used to think this was power, he says, to shape the sky, to break silence. He closes his fist, the thunder fades. But power is not shape, it is memory. Hera looks at him. Do you remember? Zeus nods. I remember everything. They walk now, slowly, not as gods, as two people who've stayed. You follow them into a smaller space, an observatory of sorts, lined with great windows that hold not glass, but moments. Each pane shows something different. A girl picking olives with her grandmother, a soldier kissing another man before dawn, a woman lighting a lamp for no reason but hope. They don't see us, Hera says, but we see them. Zeus touches one pane. Their choices become us. You ask, softly, do you regret? They do not speak. But their silence is not refusal, it is wait. Then Hera says, I regret forgetting who he was before the crown. Zeus says, I regret thinking I had to be more than what I am. You feel a tear form. It isn't yours, but it belongs here. They walk to a small altar, not golden, not grand, stone, smooth, worn. Hera lights a candle. Zeus lights another. They are for each other, Hera says. We light them every year, Zeus says. Not because we have to, Hera adds. Because we want to. The flames flicker. And for a moment, they look like the first fire, the one that ever was. You understand, then, what Olympus is. Not thrones, not storms, not perfection, but the choice, again and again, to stay, to remain, to remember. Zeus turns to you. His eyes hold galaxies. Power fades. He places a hand on your shoulder. Memory does not. Hera leans forward. You have walked among us, she says, but what you carry now, that is your gift to the world below. You feel it settle in your chest. Not lightning, not prophecy, just presence, and the sky remembers. You turn, you walk, and they remain, not frozen, not distant, just watching, as gods do, as love does. Chapter 5, The Staircase That Returns to Sleep. The path back is not marked. There is no gate, no farewell, just a hush that deepens. You begin to descend, though you are not sure when the walk began. The light has shifted, no longer gold, but soft pearl, like a sky before snow. The wind carries no sound, only stillness. You are leaving Olympus, but Olympus does not leave you. Every step downward is slower, not heavy, reverent, as though your feet remember every moment they carried you upward. The mountain's air changes around you, no longer humming with divine memory, but gentle, like the air that waits beside a sleeping child. Time flows here, but gently, thoughtfully, like a stream making its way around old stone. You pass between the columns again, only now you see them differently, not towering, not proud, welcoming. They do not watch, they remember. And you remember too. You remember the hearth, not blazing but steady, and Hestia's hands resting like folded wings. You remember the garden and Aphrodite's quiet sorrow, how love is grown, not gifted, how longing is not a flaw, but a seed. You remember the sky, the stars you could not touch but could still feel. You remember Zeus and Hera, not in power, but in pause, the way love can stay after centuries of forgetting, and you carry it with you, not like a burden, like a hum. Something begins to form at the base of the path, a staircase winding and slow. It turns inward, a spiral, not down into shadow, down into sleep. Each step softer, each breath fuller. Your eyes begin to close, though you do not yet sleep. And now the fire is behind your eyes, the petal of longing folded into your chest, the sky above your thoughts, the mountain in your bones. You reach the final step. It is not an ending, it is a resting place, a space for stillness. You step off, and the world returns, the world you knew, and yet not the same. You are softer, you are steadier, you are not alone, because Olympus walks with you now, not in thunder or tale or myth, but in memory, in warmth, in love that lingers long after the sky has grown quiet. And if you forget, if you ever wonder whether the mountain was real, just listen to the silence between breaths, to the fire that waits inside your own heart, to the soft steps of the gods who, even now, are lighting another candle and waiting for you to remember. You are always welcome. Home among the clouds,